When do you hear that voice that tells you you're not ready? This isn't your time. This challenge is too big. What do you do when you hear that voice? Maybe walk away, don't follow up, maybe even close the computer and call it a day, even though you know there's more for you to do, more possibilities you could create. It's not so much about thinking, how can we get rid of all those limiting voices? That would be great too, but they're part of the human existence. What the question really becomes is, what do you do to persevere despite that voice of limitation? If you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur, like most of my clients are, there are lots of new things that you have to step into to grow your business. And just as you're stepping into something new or trying something out, what happens to that voice of limitation? It makes an appearance and is sometimes louder than ever before. You might have heard an expression that you remember even as your childhood that says, it's not what you say, but how you say it. And we can use that same principle in managing that limiting voice. Think about that limiting voice. What is it telling you? Can you hear it now? It's usually pretty loud and it's usually pretty nasty. Well, when you imagine that voice, I want you to think of an old-time radio. Reach out to that volume knob and play with that voice in your mind and just turn it down as though you had a magical volume button and turn it down to a whisper. How much power does that voice have if it's just a whisper? You could try some other things. Make that voice of limitation sound like Daffy Duck or Mickey Mouse or who's your favorite cartoon character from childhood. And let it say the same thing, but just in a completely different voice. And notice how that feels and affects you. How serious can you take a voice that sounds like Speedy Gonzales? Try this on and see how that changes how you feel and how much impact that voice can really have on what it is that you need to do. Try it on, let me know in the comments below. And this is one tool to brighten your leadership light.